Y'all know what time it is. Everybody knows what time it is. And I'm not talking about what it says on your clock. I'm talking about the fact that it is time for Work on Your Game University. We're going to wait for some people to get in here. Dre All Day is live. In case you were wondering if I was going to go live today, the answer is yes. All questions answered. We are live here at Work on Your Game University. I'm going to give a minute for people to start coming into the stream. I'm going to wait to start talking until people start coming in here. Facebook. I'm live on Facebook on my right, live on Instagram on my left. We are going to get into this. We're going to get into this material within the next, I say 2 minutes, within the next 120 seconds. So as y'all come in, tell me your names and location in the comment section. As y'all come in, name and location, Thon 5400. With the first comment was good. As y'all come in, tell me your name and location. We are going to get right into it within the next 2 minutes. Facebook, if y'all coming in, if y'all come in later, y'all can tell me name and location later on. As y'all come in, name and location, name and location, name and location. This is Dre All Day, coming to y'all live. Today's topic is how to regain your confidence if and when you have lost your confidence. And that's the topic here today. We're talking about confidence, your ability, your willingness to put yourself out there. Correa checking in from South Carolina. What's going on? We're going to give it like 60 seconds. I don't care how many people is in here. I don't care if it's a million. I don't care if it's one person. I'm doing this live, and it's starting in the next 60 seconds. So as y'all come in, tell me your name and location. McCompin Prep. Oh, you have the feature with Monique. Yeah, shout out to Monique. Seamus in Wisconsin. What's going on? We are starting this live stream in 60 seconds. This live is beginning. Well, it's began already, but I'm getting into my material in 60 seconds. So whoever's here is here. Whoever's not, they missed it. They got to catch the replay, or hopefully they come in later. Facebook. Anybody who's checking in on Facebook, you can tell me your name and location. I'll shout you out before we get started. Jonathan from Kentucky, what's going on? My name is Dre Baldwin. For those people who don't know me, also known as Dre All Day. I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. Now I'm an entrepreneur, author of 25 books. Book number 26 is in print right now, meaning I'm getting a physical copy of it. I'm not even going to tell people about it, so I got a physical copy I can hold in my hand so I can show y'all exactly what I got. But book number 26 is ready. It is made for a niche, a specific niche audience, so it ain't going to be for everybody. But the people who it is for, it's going to be so much for you that you ain't going to have no choice but to get it. I'm telling you that right now. Michael, what's up? As y'all coming in, I told you, author of 25 books, 26 is on the way. I'm creator of over 7,000 YouTube videos. I published over 7,000 blog posts. I have a daily audio masterclass experience, which y'all may call a podcast, but for me, it's a masterclass experience. That show has over 1,400 episodes. In other words, I put the work in. And I created this whole philosophy here called Work on Your Game. This whole framework is about taking a pro athlete's mindset and teaching how you can use it in your business or in your life. McCon said you teach etiquette. My message gave you a boost. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, listen to the message I'm about to give you today. All right, if you like that one, wait till you hear what I'm going to talk about here today. Now, for all of y'all who are watching this, it doesn't matter what it is you do for a living, where you're from, how old you are, what this corona situation has you in. We all got to perform at some level in life, right? We all know, if any of y'all been following me for any amount of time, you know that I say all the time that the life that we live in, whether you're an entrepreneur, an athlete, student, whatever, we are in a performance-based business. How did my camera just got flipped on Facebook? All right. We are in a performance-based business, which means you got to perform in order to win the business, and then you got to produce results during your performance. And the challenge for all of us is, especially when you're in a public-facing job, somewhere that people can see you all the time, people can see what you have going on, people can see if you're winning or losing, or if it looks like you're winning or losing. Sometimes you might lose face. You might lose a little bit of your confidence or self-esteem because maybe if you're an athlete, you lost the game. If you're a business person, you put out a product or a service and nobody bought it. Or you did a live stream and you didn't think enough people were watching it. You put some videos out or an article out, nobody read it, or you don't feel like you got enough views. So you're feeling a little bit self-conscious. You're feeling like your confidence is starting to slip away. Or maybe you just don't have, maybe you just feel like everybody else is advancing a little bit faster than you. Maybe you feel like you're doing all right, but then you see what everybody else is doing. You're like, damn, compared to them, I'm not really doing anything. So you start to lose a little bit of your confidence, and maybe you lose a lot of your confidence. Maybe you have lost all of your confidence. Today's master session, what I'm going to talk about here today, is how to get your confidence back at any point in your life and anything that you do if you feel your confidence has begun to slip. So whether you were at 100 and you went down to 0, you lost all of it, whether you lost half of your confidence, if you lost 2% of your confidence. You went down to 98%, then you want to get back to 100. What I'm going to share with you here today will apply in any of those situations, anywhere you go, anything you do in life. Are y'all ready for that? Hopefully you are, because we're getting started whether you're ready or not. All right, ready or not, we're getting into this. So what I'm talking about here today is how to regain that mojo, like Austin Powers talked about in those Austin Powers movies. That energy, that something energy, that je ne sais quoi, that gives you just that spark to go do what you want to do in life. And I'm going to tell you about one of my books that'll help you do that as well, to follow up with what you're going to hear here today. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Point number one, first thing you do when you feel like you need to get your confidence back up, when you feel like you need to build up your self-esteem back from where it has gotten to, back to where it was, the number one thing you must do is forget everything that everyone else wants from you and everything that everyone else expects of you. Let me say that again, make sure I say it smoothly. Forget everything that everybody else wants from you and everything that everyone else expects from you. You need to take all of everybody else's expectations and put them to the side, and you need to refocus on number one. You need to refocus on yourself. What happens with us many times in life is that we start to lose our sense of self, which leads to us losing our confidence. That's the root cause of it, is we lose our sense of self because we're spending so much of our days looking into these devices, looking at our emails, looking at our texts, looking at everybody else's lives, or at least the highlights of other people's lives, and we start thinking about, well, damn, maybe I should do what that person's doing, or maybe I should do what this person's telling me I should do, or this person gave me this suggestion, maybe I should do that, maybe I should do this, and we start spending so much of our days and so much of our thoughts, we're preoccupied with what everybody else wants, or what we think everybody else wants, or what we think somebody else is going to respond to, or what we think other people are going to approve of, or what we think other people think is the best thing for us to do. And oftentimes we don't even know what other people are thinking, but we think that we know what they're thinking, and then our brains are trying to reverse psychology, triple reverse psychology, what other people are thinking, and we're not even thinking about what we want. We lose sight of what we want and who we are and what we're about, and that's how we start to lose our confidence, because confidence is your belief in your ability to do whatever it is that you're doing. But if you are not even thinking about you so much, you're thinking about what everybody else is doing, and you're comparing your results or your progress to other people's results or other people's highlights, or at least what other people want you to think of their highlights, you lose your whole sense of self. You don't even know who you are anymore. And therefore, again, you stop believing in you because you're looking at everybody else. Everybody else looks so good, and you're looking at yourself like, man, I don't look as good as them. Now you don't believe in yourself anymore. Now you don't know who you are anymore. When we start looking at other people's expectations so much, what happens is we forget to satisfy our own expectations, and we lose our connection to the essence of who we are as a person. You can't be confident if you don't know who you are as a person. You can't be the full version of you if you're looking at everybody else. You can't be the full version of you if you're paying more attention to them the outside world, than you are paying to yourself. So the very first thing you got to do to get your confidence back, if you lost your confidence, the first step, as they say, anytime you find yourself in a hole, what's the first step of getting out of a hole? If you find yourself in one, is to stop digging, right? You dug yourself into a hole, stop digging. So the first thing you got to do is stop looking at him and her and them and they and everybody else out there. Stop paying attention to what all of them are doing. I just talked about this on my story earlier, like an hour ago. I said this on my story. If y'all didn't watch my story today, make sure you watch it. I said that we need more producers out here. All right, we don't need everybody to be a consumer. Now, people like me who is a producer, listen, I appreciate the consumers. We need some consumers. I need people to go buy the book when I write it. I need people to watch the live when I do it. I need people to listen to the masterclass when I put it out. But we also need producers out here. We need people who are out here doing stuff, putting stuff out for other people to watch you, instead of you just spending all your time, all your most precious resource, which is time, watching everybody else. And when you're watching so much of everybody else, this is how you start to lose the essence of who you are as a person, because you're paying so much attention to their conversation and what they're saying and what they're doing and what they want you to believe. You forget what you believe. You forget what you need to do. You forget what you're saying. You forget what you're about because you know so much about what they are about. All right, don't be so much of a consumer that you forget to produce. Listen, I consume too. I listen to podcasts, I listen to music, I read books, but I make sure I'm producing way more than I'm consuming. I consume just enough to get enough of a spark or enough of an idea or enough information and enrichment so I can go and produce even better and produce at a higher level. That's the reason why you consume. It's not just to be passive, not just to waste time. And I mean, time's the most valuable resource you got. So if you're looking to waste time, listen, you listen to the wrong person, because this message is not going to help you do that. Point number two, For those of y'all came in the middle, the topic you can see in the pinned comment or in the description on Facebook. The topic is how to regain your confidence whenever you feel like you've lost it or you feel like it's slipping a little bit. The second thing you have to do, as I touched on in point number one, is you got to reconnect with who you truly are as a person. And when I say reconnect with who you truly are as a person, I'm not talking about what you represent in your photos that you post on your social media feeds. I'm not talking about the person that you think everybody else wants you to be, or who you think your parents want you to be, or your kids, or your significant other, or whatever your brand is, your image, or your influence, or your status. I'm not talking about the front-facing version of you that gets on camera and puts themselves out there to the world. I'm talking about the 100% version of you. I'm talking about the parts of you that only you know about. The parts of you that you don't even talk about, the parts of you that you don't even write them down, the parts of you that only you know about and you have never shown to other people, the parts of you that really drive you to do what you do and be who you are when you're at your peak version of yourself. Whenever that was or whenever that is, when you're at that ideal version of you in your eyes, that's the person that I'm talking about. The person that's driving those actions, not the person that's doing what you think you're supposed to do, or what you think other people will approve of, or what you think the world wants from you. But when you're being the real version of you, when everything just feels effortless, when you get in that zone of being you, that's the person that I'm talking about. That's the version of you that you need to reconnect with. So how do you figure out who this is? Maybe you have been so far out of yourself for so long that you don't even know where to begin with this. Think about the things that you think of about yourself and about your life in private. The things that really make you who you are, the energies that move you to your best action, the energies that you feel when you're really listening to your instincts, when you're really listening to your instinctive self and you're not trying to force anything, you're not trying to be something that you're not trying to make people believe anything about you that may or may not necessarily be true, but when you're just living off of instinct, acting off of instinct and being your best version of you, only you know what the best version of you is. Now, it's not about what anybody else thinks. It's about what you think. When anybody else tells you what they think the best version of you is, they're telling you the best version for them, or for their benefit. But it's not about other people's benefit. It's about the best version of you for your benefit, for your personal fulfillment. And your personal fulfillment may not be the same as the thing that you do that makes you the most money or gets you the most fans or makes everybody like you. They may be two different people. But I want you to get to that one that gives you the most fulfillment, the one where you feel most at home, when you feel best being who you actually are, which could be completely different from the person that the public wants from you. Everybody understand that? I'm talking about listening to your instincts. To get the best out of you and the best out of your life, it is imperative. It's a requirement that you get comfortable with being who you truly are. When a person can really draw an audience and really captivate people, and it seems like it's all just so natural and so easy that they're not even trying, that's because that person is being the truest version of themselves. And that doesn't mean that they had to be famous. It doesn't mean that they got to be doing a live stream or they got to write books or try to be a speaker or an actor or have a reality show. It means they're just being the best version of themselves. Everything that they do flows naturally from their inner being. They don't have to think about who they need to be. They don't need anybody to tell them who to be. They don't need to pretend to be something that they're not. They're being the truest version of themselves. It flows from within them. It's just natural. It just happens. They don't even have to try. That version of you is the version that matters most. That's the version of you that you need to get to if you're going to get all your confidence back. Because see, when you're at that level, you don't have to think about being confident. You don't have to think about what you're doing. It doesn't matter what anybody else is saying or doing or thinking about you. You're just going to be the best version of you without even trying. All right, it's effortless. If it's not effortless for you right now, that means you have lost touch with the truest version of yourself. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means you've been looking outside of yourself for a little bit too long. But it happens to all of us when, look, we got these devices within arm's reach 24 hours a day. This is why it happens. That's why this topic, what I'm talking about here, is so needed. Point number 3. The topic here is how to regain your confidence when you feel like you've lost it or start to slip a little bit. You got to stop worrying about failing. Stop worrying about what might happen if being the truest version of you just doesn't work. Let's say you go and be that truest version of you and some people just don't like it. Some people are not feeling it. Some people say, well, it seems like you changed a little bit. It seems like you're being someone other than who I thought you were. It seems like your energy is a little bit different. You're not doing the things that I liked about you. You're not doing the things that I expected from you. I don't really approve of the way that you're doing stuff now. These are the kind of things that you might start hearing or what you might start feeling from other people when you get back to being the truest version of yourself, which is a version of you that maybe you haven't shown the world in a long time. Maybe there are people who know you right now and you have relationships with them, and they have never seen this version of you before. When you start being that really truest version of yourself, and they're going to be like a little bit, they might push away from it. They might be like, well, I didn't know this is who you were. I thought you were this person, that front facing, the facade that you've been having for the last 20 years, because that's the person you thought you needed to be. All these people became your friend and they're your associates because that's the person that they saw, but that's not even the true you. And when you get back to being the true you, some people are going to be all right with it. They're going to accept you as you are. But some people also going to be like, well, you know, I thought you were a little bit different. I don't really like this part of you. I don't really condone what you're doing over here. I don't feel the way that you're thinking this way or that you're talking this way. I don't feel that you express that. I don't like that you're presenting yourself in this way. They might not like it when you decide to be the true version of yourself. But here's the thing that I'm telling you is you can't be worried about that. You can't concern yourself with, well, somebody else might say that somebody else might say something negative about me, or somebody might feel like they don't like the way that I'm presenting myself. Somebody don't like the way that I'm talking. They don't like the way that I walk. They don't like the way that I dress. That may happen, but you can't stop yourself worrying about what might go wrong. And this is what happens with a lot of people in life. Some of you who are listening to this right now, you probably had a situation in your life where you had an idea. Some idea sparked in your mind that got you excited. As you started to think about it, you started to turn it over in your mind, what you could do, how things would change, how it would benefit you, how it would make things better. But before you could actually put the idea into action, here's what happened. You had a thought in your mind that said, well, what if it goes wrong? What if this doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I try something new and it's a complete flop? What if I try to put myself out there to the world and it's just a total disaster and people are laughing at me? What if I execute on this idea and it ends up being a waste of money, a waste of time, a waste of energy, and I get ridiculed by whoever knows about it? Whether that's 5 people or 50,000 people, I get ridiculed by the people who know that I tried that thing and it didn't work. What if it's a public failure? What if it's a private failure and I know that I failed and then I'm going to beat myself up about it? This is what happens to a lot of people. They get the idea that they're going to do something, and before they get to act on it, they start coming up with all the reasons why the idea might fail, and they think about those ideas, those reasons why it might fail so much that they stop themselves before they even do anything. This is basically like you having an idea abortion is what we call this. You understand what I'm saying? You got the idea, it's in your mind, and it's going through its period of gestation, so it can be born. When you act on it, that's when the idea is born. But before it's born, you abort the whole idea before it even gets the full term, simply because you're thinking about all the ways that you might fail, all the ways it might go wrong, all the ways somebody else might disagree, all the ways somebody might say something negative about you, and then you stop yourself from doing anything. I'll tell you one thing right now. 95% of the ideas that people have never happen. All right, so ideas that you know about, like Steve Jobs making all these Apple products, and Elon Musk with the Tesla, the person who invented refrigerators, the person who invented the printing press, the person who invented computers and basketball gear and glass bottles to put water in. I'm just naming stuff that I see around me. The people who came up with those ideas, they're in the 5% of ideas that actually happen. 95% of ideas never happen for this exact reason I'm telling you right here. 95% of ideas never happen because the person or people who had the idea, because one person will have an idea, they won't use it. Then somebody else across the world will have the same idea, they don't do nothing with it. Then 20 more people had the same idea, they don't do nothing with it. Then person number 35 gets the idea, they execute on it, and everybody's like, wow, look at that great idea they came up with. And it's 35 other people around the world like, yo, I had that same idea 2 years ago. I had that idea 10 years ago. I was thinking about that last week. Now somebody wouldn't execute on it. See, the owner of an idea is not the first person who had it. Owner of an idea is the person who executed on it and made it real. So any idea that you have right now, listen, you're not the first person to think about it. You're not the first person who had that idea. Even if you think you're the first one, and maybe it's factual, you're the first one who did it, you weren't the first person who had the idea. The reason many ideas don't come to pass is because people think themselves out of their own success. They think their way out of success that would have been available to them had they acted on the idea. Now, is every idea perfect? No. Is every idea that you execute on actually going to turn into $1 billion success? No. Are you going to try out some ideas and they end up being, you can't even say a waste of time, but just not working the way you thought they were going to work? Yes, that is going to happen. Some ideas are just not going to work. But even if they don't work, you can't say it's a waste of time, because when you execute an idea, a couple things happen. First of all, you give yourself activity knowledge. You get the experience of having actually done something. Secondly, you get a little bit of confidence, a little bit more confidence, because you had an idea and you did something with it. Even if it's a complete disaster, you can at least say, I did something with it, so I know what's going to happen. Third of all, you separate yourself from 95% of people, and that's being generous. 95 is probably closer to 99% of people on this planet who have ideas and don't do anything with their ideas. And they're just sitting around thinking about it. Then the idea just goes out of their mind because they don't do anything with it. And that idea just floats around on the ether, just waiting for somebody else to pick it up. Then somebody else does their idea 2 years later, and they're like, man, I had that idea. I never did anything with it. That's all the things that happen to you when you execute an idea, even when the idea fails, even when the idea comes up short. And if you act on an idea and it ends up not working, you now have a story to tell. You can tell people, look, I had this idea and I did this, this, and this, and it just didn't work. And there's another thing that happens when you execute on an idea that fails. Notice all these benefits are things of ideas that don't work. Now you know what doesn't work. You know what the result is when you do A, B, C, D, E. This is the outcome, not the one that you wanted, but you might get some kind of idea just from that. I mean, Thomas Edison, when he was inventing the light bulb, the story goes that he tried 10,000 different ways to invent the incandescent light bulb. Those are the lights that we have in our houses when you turn the lights on. 10,000 times he tried it and it didn't work before he figured it out. Now, each one of those times when things didn't work, he got an idea, oh, you know what? I could use that for this. Or maybe I could use that one didn't work the way that I wanted. It didn't produce the outcome that I wanted, but it does produce this, so maybe I could use that. If I ever find a way to use that, if I find a use for that, maybe I could use it for that. Any of y'all know about, everybody knows what a sticky note is, right? You know those little 3M sticky notes you can put on your computer screen or put up on a board or put on your refrigerator? Those sticky notes came about because somebody was trying to invent some kind of glue, and they ended up making what became sticky notes that wasn't working. Obviously, the glue wasn't strong enough, but they said, you know what, we might be able to use this for something else. And the people at 3M ended up owning that idea. And how much money has 3M, that's the company, how much money have they made off sticky notes? How many sticky notes have they sold over the lifetime of sticky notes? Probably close to billions of dollars worth of sticky notes have been sold. Why? Because somebody had an idea that didn't work. But because that idea didn't work and they took note of why it didn't work and took note of what it did produce, they were able to take the scraps off the scrap heap of the stuff that didn't work, and they were able to make something else out of it. All of these are benefits of acting on an idea, even when you do not get the result that you want. Okay? And I'm telling you all that, we're still on point number 3 here. We end up staying back on our heels because we're worried about failing. Worst case scenario, again, you'll find out what doesn't work. But the good news is you'll find out where and how something does work. Kanye West. Everybody knows Kanye, right? He tells the story, I believe is the last song on his first album, the story that when he was first trying to rap, he was producing songs for people, producing songs for Jay-Z, and that's how people got to know him. But he was like, yo, I'm not just a producer, I'm also a rapper. And people was looking at him funny because back then, this is like 20 years ago, all the rappers had on throwback jerseys and Timbs and jeans, and Kanye was wearing pink polos and Louis Vuitton backpacks and tight pants before it was cool to do any of those things. And he was a producer. And he wasn't rapping about drugs and guns and violence. So everybody was looking at him funny like, yo, you a rapper? You don't look like a rapper. You don't sound like a rapper. Nothing about you says rapper. Nowadays, everything that Kanye was doing in 2001 is cool. But back then it wasn't. But because he was still willing to stick with his idea and his vision of him being a rapper, even when everybody was laughing at him, clowning him, and saying like, yo, you got all this success just producing. Why don't you just produce? Why you need to be a rapper? It'd be one thing if he was a failure at everything and he was trying to rap to become a success at something, but he was already succeeding at rapping. I mean, producing. Why you need to be a rapper too? Why? Just stick to being a producer. And most people, metaphorically speaking, would have just stuck to being a producer. Again, I'm just using a metaphor if you understand what I'm saying here with Kanye. But he didn't say that. He stuck to his guns and said, you know what? I'm going to put myself out there as a rapper. And, I mean, long story short, we all know what happened. And now it's normal to look like Kanye, sound like Kanye, not rap about the streets, have on tight pants and pink polos and Louis Vuitton backpacks. Now everybody's doing it, right? Now the guys who was the thug rappers are doing the same thing Kanye was doing. He turned them on to what he was doing because he was willing to stick to his guns. So let me recap what I talked about here. For those of y'all came in the middle of this, I'm talking how to regain your confidence anytime in life where you feel like you've lost it, you feel like it slipped a little bit. How do you get that mojo back? Number one thing you got to do, forget everything that everyone else expects of you or wants from you. or what you think everyone else expects from you or wants from you. Usually is what we think they want, not what they actually want, because we think for other people. We project what we think they're thinking, but it's actually what we're thinking, but we project it on other people to give ourselves an excuse, because we don't want to say, well, I think that they think that. We say, well, they think that, when you don't even know. The first thing you got to do is stop thinking what you think other people are thinking. And even if you knew, it doesn't matter, because what they want is not as important as what you want. You got to satisfy your own self before you can satisfy everybody else. Put everybody else's ideas and thoughts and wants on the back burner. Point number 2, reconnect with who you truly are as a person. Not the person that you showed to Instagram or Facebook, not the person that you think everybody wants you to be, not the person that you have developed into because you've been conditioned to adhere to other people's expectations, but the person that you truly are, your inner self, the person that you don't tell people about, the person that you would be if you weren't worried about what anybody thought. If you were completely uninhibited, who would you be at that point? Be that version of you, because you cannot be fully confident until you know exactly who you are. If you're not fully sure who you are, you can't fully believe in yourself. That wouldn't make sense. Now, you can't believe in a fake version of yourself, but you can believe in the true version of yourself. But you got to connect with who that person actually is, getting back in touch with your instincts. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to stop listening to what everybody else is saying. And point number 3, stop worrying about failing or what might happen if being you doesn't quote unquote work. Listen, there's no such thing as being you working. When you're being you, there is no pass or fail. It's you being you. All right. The only way you can fail at it is by not being yourself. Listening to everybody else, worrying about what everybody else is thinking, not connecting with your instincts. That's the only way you can fail at being yourself. When you're being yourself, whoever disagrees with it, listen, those people shouldn't have been around you in the first place. If being you means a slight change from who you are right now, even if it means a drastic change, anyone who doesn't accept that, they should have never been in your life in the first place. You let them walk away. Okay, don't try to drag them back. Don't try to convince them to stay. Let those people walk away, because they should have never been in the first place. If they don't accept you for being who you truly are, even if who you truly are is different from who they thought you were, then those people shouldn't be around you anyway. And you should be happy to let them walk. All right, you shouldn't be ashamed or sad or disappointed at that. You should be happy to let them go. The same way, like I told the story, Kanye West, he was producing. Everybody said, well, just be a producer. You're a good producer. He said, no, I want to be a rapper too. People laughed at him. People tried to clown him. People said, you'll never make it as a rapper. But we all know who Kanye West is now, and many of us know him through his rapping, not through his producing. So with all that being said, if anyone has a question on the subject, I'm not sure we got any questions. I didn't see every comment that came through. But if there are any questions on this subject, the topic is how to regain your confidence if you feel like you have lost it. Go ahead and post that comment, and I will give you the commercials right now while I wait to see what we got. First of all, this book right here. These are 2 free books. This is the Mirror of Motivation, the Self-Guide, the Self-Discipline, so you can light that spark within yourself, so you can start being who you truly are in life, and then you can do what you really want to do, so you can have the results that you really want to have in your life. You can get this book for free. I've already paid for the book. You just cover the shipping at mirrorofmotivation.com. The second book is called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This one is made specifically for basketball players who want to play professional basketball anywhere in the world. You want to get paid to play basketball, travel the world, and play literally a game for a living. There is no better job than playing professional sports. If there's a better job than playing pro sports, somebody let me know. I ask this every day. Nobody's told me one yet. Go to balloverseas.com. You get this book for free. I've already paid for the book. You take care of the shipping. Balloverseas.com. We ship this book worldwide. We just shipped 10 books internationally just this week. We ship books internationally because people all over the world want to play professional basketball. There ain't no better job than this. So if you want to play ball overseas, go to balloverseas.com and get this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. I'm shipping it to you worldwide. You just take care of the shipping. And when you're ready to learn my framework, if you like what you heard today, that's this book right here called Work on Your Game. Use the pro athlete mindset to dominate your game in business, sports, and life. When you order this book at workonyourgamebook.com, I'm going to give you some bonuses. I think it's 5 bonuses that you cannot get anywhere else. You can't get the bonuses through Amazon. You can't get them through Audible. You can't get them through iBooks. You can only get it at workonyourgamebook.com. Now, if you still want to order on Amazon, it's your choice, it's your money. But you get all the bonuses, which are going to be worth way more than just the cost of the book. All you get if you order on Amazon is just the book. But you order with me, you're going to get some bonuses. It's going to make the value of what you get here worth 20 times what you actually paid for the book. And that's just a fact. If I'm lying, somebody can let me know. That's at workonyourgamebook.com. So now I'm going to see what we got going on in the comments section. If there's anything that I need to address here today. If y'all liked what I talked about here today, my pinned comment says workonyourgameu.com. free access to my game group membership. That's where I do not live, but audio masterclasses every single day. Some of y'all might call it a podcast. My audio masterclass is exclusive to my members on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, all those. I do put out how much do you get? A third of each masterclass. But if you want the full version of every masterclass and you want every one of them, I've done over 1,400 of them. Those are all at Work on Your Game University, workonyourgameu.com, which is the pinned comment right here on Instagram. And for those of y'all who are on Facebook, that's also workonyourgameu.com. So you get access to the game group membership, which is not only every masterclass I've ever done. I do a new one every single day, just in case you didn't know. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in the game group membership. Look at my story today. I showed you a screenshot or a little video shot of what it looks like inside the game group membership. There's so much stuff in there, you couldn't consume it all in all of 2020. Even though you're stuck in the house, you couldn't consume all that stuff. All right, so let's see what we got going on in the comments. Somebody asked me something about missing hooping. No, if I miss it, I'll still be playing. Nobody made me stop. Michael said, I work so hard to be the best at basketball that I can. Well, that's great. Keep working. And when you become great, you still got to keep working. You got to keep working to stay great. So being great is not a destination. It's something you got to keep doing. Trade on Purpose was good. The real Mike Jacks, what's going on? Introspective says, would you say consistent meditation is an effective way to be a true spiritual path and fulfill your life purpose like what you're doing? Well, meditation can be an element of it. I do recommend meditation because it helps you clear your mind, which is something that many of us don't do because we're on our phones and scrolling through feeds and emails and texts and all that stuff all day. So meditation is an element which allows you to practice clearing your mind and calming your mind and calming your spirit. So meditation is something that I do recommend meditation. I got a video on YouTube on meditation. You can look it up or just go download the app and start using it. I mean, you don't really need it. It ain't really a how-to to meditating. Just go get the app and start using it. I think it can help everybody. Everybody can learn from meditation. So somebody asked me a question. I got a question over on Facebook. Somebody asked me, how long did it take me to be confident at what I do? Joe Joyce asked the question. How long did it take me to be confident at doing this right here? Well, I got like 20,000 hours in this. So you know how they say it takes 10,000 hours to become proficient? I got about 20,000 hours in doing video and speaking to audiences and articulating my concepts and ideas and putting them into a framework that other people can understand. As you can see through these books that I just showed you, I've written 25 books. As I told you, I've done 7,000 videos, 1,400 master classes, 6,000 blog posts. I've probably done 1,000 live streams. Who knows how many live streams I've done? I've done a lot. And I write every day. I record every day. I'm doing these every day. So I just got a lot of experience doing this, Joe. So how long did it take me? It's not like a destination. It's not like you do it this much time and then, all right, boom, you're confident. The day before you weren't. That's not the way that it works. Confidence is like a membership. Confidence is not a product that you buy. Like you go purchase, like if you go and buy this book at workonyourgamebook.com, now you own the book. You don't ever have to buy the book again because you own it. You have this forever. Confidence is not like that. It's not like something you get, you do this action, you get it, and now boom, you're good for the rest of your life. You got to keep working on your confidence to maintain it. So confidence, like I said, is a membership. Every day you must renew your membership by doing the things that allow you to be confident. What allows you to be confident in, let's say, speaking to an audience is speaking to an audience. Doing the thing gives you confidence to do the thing. Playing basketball, for example, players would ask me, well, Dre, how long did it take you to develop a jump shot or become a good shooter or become a good dribbler in basketball? Well, however long it takes, once you get good at it, you got to keep doing it to stay good. Now, if you're a good shooter in basketball and then you don't play basketball for a month and then you go back to the court, are you still going to be a good shooter? Probably not. You're probably going to miss most of your shots. Then when you come back after a month, why? Because you stopped doing the work. You stopped making the payments into that confidence membership. Y'all understand that? Confidence is a membership. You got to keep doing things to keep your confidence up at the level that it's at. As soon as you stop doing the work, you have no longer earned the right to be confident. I might do a whole masterclass just on that topic right there. So I'm glad you asked that question. I might have already done it. I got to check. As I told you, I've done 1,400 of these. Sometimes I forget something that I did. Don said, you haven't made a video on how to meditate. I mean, there is no how-to meditating. All right? All meditating is just being quiet, calming your mind, and allowing your thoughts to pass without getting caught up in the thoughts. I would suggest, since I'm not an expert on meditation, I would suggest you just go get the Headspace app or the Calm app. Those are both apps on meditation. and they have guided teachings that tell you, like, this is what we want you to do when you meditate. I use those apps, so get those apps and just let them guide you through it. So just jump straight into it. You don't need a how-to video on meditation. All right, the last thing you need is another YouTube video when you're looking for how to meditate. That don't make no sense. Go to YouTube to figure out how to meditate. No, don't go to YouTube. Go to the App Store, get the app, and start using it ASAP. Calico Styles, what's going on? Then it says, what do I think? Who I think the greatest basketball player? I gotta go Jordan. GTX says, if I buy one of your books, do I get it delivered to my door or to my mailbox? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? You get it delivered to whatever address you put in there. Wherever you tell us to send it, that's where it's going. So everybody, work on your game U. That's where you get access to the game group membership. You get access to my master classes that I do every day. If you like this one, imagine what I do when I script out what I'm going to say, not word for word, but I give myself notes and I take even more time putting it together. If you like this, which is mostly off the top, imagine what I do when I get the scripted out. I've done it 1,400 times and I'm going to do it another 1,400 times as long as I'm allowed to do it. So everybody, work on your game. You there? You already know about this book, Work on Your Game, my whole framework. You know about the free books, balloverseas.com and mirrorofmotivation.com. Get these books. I will ship them worldwide, anywhere that you live, to your door or to your mailbox, whoever it was that asked that question. Have a great night. Wash your hands. And, yeah, wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. Work on your game. Dre all day.